晒你，快啲嚟！上級嘅計劃好周詳，我哋執行任務嘅時候有留意。點解啊？
佢哋即係點啊？
你估得一啲都冇錯，佢哋通通都冇事。
救命啊！
我當日報警喺案發地盤後邊嘅冇區監視，當時已有10幾個人做啊！嗌入啫，反對無效，你要答。佢哋都認為喺集中控訴期間，你唔可以申請取消禁制，之後話就打無線電 call 你，我嘅。咁你話大家阿咩啊？咩啊？我當我入條命係我嘅，我有分數。
Hello friends, if you are looking for a complete and in-depth review of this movie Police Story 1985, you have come to the right place. In today's video, we will break down the full story, explore the talented cast, analyze the box office performance and highlight the most powerful moments that make this film stand out. So make sure to like, share and subscribe and let's get started. The story begins with Sergeant Chan Ka-Kui, a dedicated Hong Kong police officer known for his courage, determination, and willingness to take dangerous risks in the line of duty. Chan is not the kind of officer who waits for criminals to make the first move. He is constantly ready to chase suspects, enter dangerous situations, and put himself in harm's way to bring criminals to justice. His aggressive style often creates problems for his superiors, but his results prove that he is one of the most capable officers in the force. Chan's next major assignment involves taking down a powerful drug lord named Chu Tao. Chu Tao is not an ordinary criminal. He has built a large criminal organization involved in the illegal drug trade, and his network is protected by money, influence, and loyal associates. The police have been trying to build a case against him for a long time, but Chu Tao has always managed to stay ahead of the authorities. Chan is now assigned to help bring him down. The police operation begins with a carefully planned attempt to arrest Chu Tao and gather enough evidence to put him behind bars. Chan and the other officers prepare to infiltrate the criminal organization, knowing that one mistake could allow Chu Tao to escape. The operation is dangerous because the criminals are heavily connected and are prepared to protect their leader. Chan understands that simply arresting one person will not be enough. The police must collect enough evidence to destroy the entire organization. During the operation, Chan is sent to a remote area where he must confront Chu Tao's men. The situation quickly becomes chaotic as the criminals realize that the police are closing in. Chang refuses to back down and begins chasing the suspects through the dangerous surroundings. What begins as a planned police operation quickly turns into a massive pursuit involving vehicles, weapons, and criminals desperately trying to escape. Chan's aggressive pursuit creates complete chaos. He chases the suspects through the area, forcing them to abandon their vehicles and run for their lives. The criminals believe that they can escape by using the difficult terrain to their advantage, but Chan continues following them without hesitation. His determination makes it clear that he will not stop until he has captured the people responsible. Eventually, the operation succeeds and Chutao is arrested. However, the police know that the arrest alone is not enough. They need a witness who can provide evidence connecting Chutao directly to the criminal organization. This is where Salina Fong, Chutao's secretary, becomes extremely important. Salina has information about the organization and may be able to help the police build a case against Chutao. Chan is assigned the responsibility of protecting Salina and making sure that she cooperates with the investigation. But this task becomes far more complicated than he expects. Salina is frightened and she understands that Chu Tao's organization is extremely powerful. If she helps the police, she could become a target. The criminals are determined to silence anyone who can testify against their leader. Chan therefore finds himself caught between two dangerous responsibilities. He must protect Salina while also dealing with the criminal organization that is trying to destroy the case against Chu Tao. The criminals are willing to use threats, violence, and manipulation to make sure that Salina never reaches the courtroom. As Chan begins working closely with Salina, their relationship is initially filled with tension. Salina does not completely trust the police, and Chan's serious and aggressive personality makes communication difficult. However, Chan understands that protecting her is essential. If anything happens to Salina, the case against Chu Tao could collapse. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's criminal organization begins planning its next move. The police believe they have finally captured their main target, but the most dangerous part of the operation is only beginning. Because as long as Salina remains alive, Chu Tao's entire empire is in danger. And Chan Ka-Kui is about to discover that bringing a powerful criminal to justice is much easier than protecting the one person who can destroy his entire organization. After Chu Tao is arrested, the police believe they finally have the powerful drug lord where they want him. However, the case is far from over. The arrest is only the beginning because the police still need enough evidence to connect Chu Tao directly to his criminal activities. The most important person in the case is Salina Fong, Chu Tao's secretary, who has knowledge of the organization and the information needed to help the prosecution. But Salina is frightened, and the criminals know that if she cooperates with the police, Chu Tao could spend years behind bars. Chan Ka-Kui is assigned to protect Salina, but the responsibility quickly becomes extremely difficult. Chan is a fearless police officer who is comfortable chasing criminals through dangerous streets and fighting heavily armed suspects. However, protecting a frightened witness requires patience and careful attention, something that does not always come naturally to him. Salina is not completely willing to trust the police, and Chan must convince her that staying under police protection is the only way to remain safe. At the same time, Chu Tao's organization begins working to destroy the case against their leader. The criminals understand that they cannot simply attack the police openly, so they begin searching for ways to intimidate Salina and make her change her story. They know that fear can be just as powerful as violence, and they are prepared to use every method available to protect their criminal empire. Chan soon realizes that the people he is dealing with are willing to take extreme risks to free Chu Tao. The pressure on Selina continues to grow as she realizes that the criminals are watching her. She knows that her connection to Chu Tao makes her a target, and she becomes increasingly nervous about what could happen if the organization finds her. Chan tries to keep her calm while also making sure that she does not accidentally expose her location. The situation becomes complicated because Salina is not simply a witness, she is also a person who must make a difficult decision about whether she is willing to risk her life to help the police. Chan's protective assignment begins taking him into situations he never expected. Instead of simply arresting criminals, he must constantly watch over Salina and make sure that she is not followed. He understands that the criminals may be waiting for even the smallest mistake. One careless moment could give them an opportunity to reach her. Chan therefore begins treating every situation as a potential threat. Meanwhile, the police continue preparing the case against Chu Tao. They believe that Salina's testimony could finally provide the evidence needed to put him away permanently. But Chu Tao's lawyers and associates are already looking for ways to weaken the case. The criminal organization has money, influence, and people willing to lie on its behalf. Chan knows that the courtroom battle may become just as important as the physical fight happening outside. As Chan and Salina spend more time together, their relationship slowly begins to change. At first, Salina sees Chan as an aggressive officer who does not understand her fear. But she gradually realizes that Chan is genuinely trying to protect her. He may be impatient and sometimes reckless, but he is willing to put his own life at risk to keep her safe. This slowly creates a level of trust between them. However, Chan's dedication to the case begins creating problems in his personal life. His girlfriend May becomes frustrated because Chan is constantly involved in dangerous police work. She does not understand why he continues putting himself in danger and why his job always seems to come before their relationship. Chan cares about May, but his responsibilities as a police officer constantly pull him into situations he cannot simply walk away from. While Chan tries to balance his personal life with the investigation, Chu Tao's organization continues searching for Selina. The criminals know that time is running out and they become more desperate with every passing moment. If Selina reaches the courtroom and gives her testimony, Chu Tao's chances of escaping justice will become much smaller. Chan begins realizing that the criminals may attempt to attack Selina before the trial. He knows that they will not stop. He knows that they are watching, and he knows that one mistake could cost Selina her life and destroy the entire case. As the investigation moves forward, Chan prepares to take Selina into greater protection. But the criminals are already planning their next move and they are ready to attack when Chan least expects it. The case against Chu Tao is becoming stronger. The danger surrounding Selina is increasing, and Chan Ka-Kui is about to discover that protecting one witness from an entire criminal organization may be the most dangerous assignment of his career. As the case against Chu Tao continues developing, Chan Ka-Kui realizes that protecting Selina is becoming more difficult with every passing day. The police have managed to arrest one of the most powerful criminals in the city, but Chu Tao's organization is still operating outside the law. His associates have money, influence, and enough connections to create problems for anyone involved in the investigation. Chan understands that even though Chu Tao is behind bars, his criminal empire is still capable of striking back. Selina remains the most important person in the case. Her knowledge of Chu Tao's activities could provide the evidence needed to keep him in prison. But she is also the greatest weakness in the prosecution's case. If the criminals can frighten her into changing her story or prevent her from appearing in court, the entire investigation could collapse. Chan therefore continues staying close to her, making sure that she is protected from anyone connected to Chu Tao. However, Selina's fear continues growing. She knows exactly how dangerous Chu Tao and his organization can be, and she has seen enough to understand what could happen if they discover that she is cooperating with the police. Chan tries to reassure her, but he also knows that the threat is real. The criminals are not simply trying to scare her, they are searching for an opportunity to reach her, and Chan must remain alert at all times. The pressure also begins affecting Chan's personal life. His girlfriend May is becoming increasingly frustrated with him because he is constantly involved in dangerous assignments. Chan spends most of his time protecting Selina and working on the investigation, leaving very little time for May. Although Chan's intentions are focused on his work, May sees only the distance growing between them. She wants Chan to be more responsible and less reckless, but Chan is not the kind of person who can easily walk away when criminals are still at large. Meanwhile, the police continue preparing for the trial. They believe that the evidence against Chu Tao is strong, but they also understand that the criminal organization will attempt to challenge everything. The case depends heavily on Salina's testimony, and the police must make sure that she reaches the courtroom safely. Chan is therefore placed in an increasingly important role because his job is not simply to guard Salina. He must make sure that the criminals never get the chance to silence her. As Chan continues working on the case, the criminals begin taking more serious steps. They start watching the movements of the police and looking for weaknesses in the protection surrounding Salina. They know that Chan is the officer responsible for her safety, and they begin realizing that removing him from the situation could make everything easier. Chan has already made himself a target through his role in Chu Tao's arrest, but now he becomes even more dangerous to the organization because he is protecting the person who could destroy their leader's future. The criminals begin trying to create confusion around the investigation. They use threats and pressure to make the situation more difficult for the police. Chan quickly realizes that the organization is not going to attack in an obvious way. They are looking for opportunities to make him lower his guard. He therefore becomes even more cautious, constantly checking his surroundings and making sure that Selina is not exposed. At the same time, Chan's aggressive personality continues creating problems within the police force. He is extremely effective when dealing with criminals, but his methods are often dangerous and unpredictable. His superiors know that Chan gets results, but they also worry that his willingness to take risks could damage the investigation. Chan believes that hesitation can allow criminals to escape, while the police leadership wants him to follow procedure more carefully. This difference in attitude becomes increasingly important as the case moves forward. Chan believes that protecting Selina requires quick action, while others believe that every decision must be carefully planned. Chan knows that the criminals will not wait for the police to finish their paperwork. If they find a chance to attack, they will take it immediately. As the trial approaches, the pressure surrounding the case reaches a new level. Selina knows that she may soon have to face Chu Tao and his associates in court. Chan understands that this could be extremely dangerous because the criminals may attempt to intimidate her before she can testify. He therefore begins preparing for every possible situation. But despite all the police protection, Chu Tao's organization continues finding ways to remain close to the case. They are watching the police, they are watching Selina, and they are waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Chan Ka-Kui believes he can protect Selina as long as he stays close to her. But the criminals are about to prove that even the strongest police protection can be challenged. And when their next move finally begins, Chan will be forced into one of the most dangerous pursuits of his career. As the trial against Chu Tao draws closer, the pressure surrounding Chan Ka-Kui and Salina becomes more intense. The police understand that the entire case depends on keeping Salina safe long enough for her to testify, while Chu Tao's criminal organization is doing everything possible to prevent that from happening. Salina is now living under constant fear, knowing that the people connected to Chu Tao may be watching her movements. Chan remains responsible for her protection, but he also knows that the criminals are becoming more desperate and that their next attack could happen at any moment. Chan tries to keep Salina under close protection, but the situation is difficult because she is not comfortable being treated like a prisoner. She wants to live normally, but Chan knows that normal life is no longer possible while Chu Tao's organization is searching for her. Every public place becomes a possible danger. Every unfamiliar person could be connected to the criminals, and every unexpected movement forces Chan to stay alert. His job is to protect her without making her feel completely trapped. But balancing those two responsibilities becomes increasingly difficult. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's lawyers continue working to weaken the case against him. They understand that Salina's testimony could seriously damage their client's chances, so they begin looking for ways to challenge her credibility. The defense attempts to create doubt about her involvement and question whether her evidence can truly be trusted. Chan watches the legal battle developing and realizes that even if the police protect Salina from physical danger, the criminals may still try to destroy her reputation inside the courtroom. As the pressure increases, Salina begins struggling with the decision to testify. She knows that the police are trying to protect her, but she also understands that Chu Tao has powerful people working for him. If she gives evidence against him, she could become a permanent target. Chan tries to convince her that the only way to stop Chu Tao is to stand against him, but he also understands why she is afraid. Salina is not a fearless police officer like Chan. She is an ordinary person who has suddenly been placed in the middle of a dangerous criminal case. Chan's relationship with May also becomes more complicated during this period. May is frustrated because Chan's work continues to dominate his life and she does not understand why he constantly chooses dangerous situations over spending time with her. Chan wants to explain himself, but his work keeps pulling him away. Every time he tries to focus on his personal life, another problem connected to the case appears. He is beginning to realize that his dedication to the police force is affecting the people closest to him. At the same time, the criminals begin planning a way to reach Salina. They understand that directly attacking a police station would be extremely difficult, so they begin searching for a weaker moment. They watch the movements of the officers and study the routines surrounding Salina's protection. Their goal is not simply to frighten her, they want to create enough pressure to make the entire case collapse before she can provide the evidence Chu Tao fears. Chan begins noticing signs that the organization may be preparing something. He becomes increasingly suspicious of anyone who comes close to Salina, and his instincts tell him that the criminals may already be moving. His superiors warn him not to act recklessly, but Chan knows that waiting too long could give the criminals exactly the opportunity they need. He therefore continues watching everything around him while preparing for the possibility of an attack. The tension finally reaches a breaking point when the criminals make their move. Their plan creates chaos and confusion, forcing Chan to react immediately. Instead of allowing the situation to develop according to their plan, Chan begins chasing the suspects. What starts as a dangerous attempt to protect Selena quickly turns into a massive pursuit through the streets of Hong Kong. Chan refuses to let the criminals escape. He follows them through crowded roads, he pushes himself beyond every limit, and he continues chasing even when the situation becomes completely out of control. The pursuit becomes increasingly dangerous as vehicles move through the city at high speed. Chan is not willing to slow down because he knows that every second gives the criminals more distance. The suspects attempt to use the crowded streets and busy roads to escape, but Chan continues following them with incredible determination. His driving becomes just as aggressive as his approach to police work, and the chase quickly turns into a dangerous battle between Chan and the criminals. The criminals believe they can escape by creating confusion, but Chan continues closing the distance. He knows that if they get away, Selena may remain in danger and the entire case against Chu Tao could be destroyed. Chan therefore takes enormous risks, using every opportunity to stop the suspects before they can disappear into the city. As the chase continues, Chan's determination becomes clear to everyone watching. He is not chasing the criminals simply because it is his job. He understands that their escape could have serious consequences for Selena and the case. His personal safety becomes secondary to his responsibility as a police officer. The pursuit eventually brings Chan closer to the criminals than ever before. But the suspects are not going to surrender easily. They know that the police are closing in. They know that the case against Chu Tao is in danger, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to escape. Chan Ka-Kui is now racing against time. If he captures the criminals, he may be able to protect the case. If they escape, Selena could become their next target. And as the chase reaches its most dangerous moment, Chan is about to be forced into a confrontation that will test not only his courage but also his ability to survive against an entire criminal organization. After the dangerous pursuit through the streets, Chan Ka-Kui continues chasing the criminals with complete determination. The suspects know that the police are closing in, but they are desperate to escape because they understand how important their mission is. If they are captured, their connection to Chu Tao's organization could be exposed, and the entire criminal operation could suffer a major setback. Chan, however, refuses to allow them to disappear. He follows them through the chaotic streets, constantly pushing himself beyond the limits of what seems possible. The chase becomes more dangerous as the criminals attempt to use the crowded city to their advantage. They move through busy roads and narrow areas, hoping that the traffic and confusion will slow Chan down. But Chan continues following them without hesitation. He knows that every second matters and he refuses to give the suspects enough time to escape. His aggressive driving and fearless determination turned the pursuit into an unforgettable battle through the city. Chan eventually manages to force the criminals into a dangerous situation. The suspects realize that escaping by vehicle may no longer be possible, so they abandon their plan and attempt to flee on foot. Chan immediately follows them, refusing to let the criminals disappear among the crowds. The chase continues through streets, buildings, and crowded areas as Chan keeps closing the distance between himself and the men responsible for threatening the case. The criminals are becoming increasingly desperate. They know that Chan is not going to stop, and they understand that being captured could create serious problems for Chu Tao. They therefore begin fighting back, using every opportunity to escape. Chan is forced to deal with several dangerous situations at once, but his determination remains stronger than his fear. He knows that the criminals may be willing to do anything to escape, and he prepares himself for the possibility that the pursuit could turn into a violent confrontation. Meanwhile, the entire case against Chu Tao continues hanging in the balance. Selina remains an important witness, and the criminals understand that her testimony could destroy their leader's future. Chan knows that the people he is chasing are not acting independently. They are connected to a much larger organization, and their actions are part of an attempt to protect Chu Tao from justice. This makes the pursuit even more important. Chan is not simply chasing criminals through the city, he is trying to protect an entire investigation. He is trying to keep Salina safe, and he is trying to prevent Chu Tao's organization from destroying the case. As Chang continues chasing the suspects, his aggressive methods begin creating problems for the people around him. His superiors are worried that he is taking too many risks, and the chaos caused by the pursuit attracts attention from everyone nearby. But Chan believes that stopping the criminals is more important than worrying about criticism. He knows that if he hesitates, the suspects may escape permanently. The criminals finally reach a point where they have no easy way out. Chan continues advancing toward them, forcing them into a desperate confrontation. The suspects realize that they must fight if they want to escape, and Chan is forced to defend himself while trying to arrest them. The situation becomes extremely dangerous because the criminals are not willing to surrender peacefully. Chan's police training and fighting ability now become essential. He is not simply chasing criminals anymore. He is fighting to survive while attempting to bring them under control. The criminals attack him with everything they have, but Chan refuses to back down. Even when he is pushed to the limit, he continues fighting with incredible determination. The confrontation eventually becomes a brutal struggle between Chan and the criminals. Every movement is filled with danger, and Chan must constantly react to their attacks. He knows that one mistake could allow them to escape, so he continues fighting despite his exhaustion. His determination proves why he is one of the most capable officers in the police force. Eventually, Chan manages to overcome the immediate danger and capture the suspects. The criminals are taken into custody, but Chan understands that this is only one part of the larger battle. The information they provide could help strengthen the case against Chu Tao, but the criminal organization is still active. More importantly, Salina is still in danger. The arrest gives the police a temporary victory, but Chu Tao's organization is far from defeated. The criminals have already shown that they are willing to take enormous risks. They have attacked the investigation, they have threatened the witness, and they have tried to escape justice. Chan knows that the next move from Chu Tao's organization could be even more dangerous. As the case moves closer to the courtroom, The pressure surrounding Selena becomes stronger. Chan must continue protecting her while dealing with the consequences of his aggressive actions. His superiors are beginning to question whether his methods are creating more problems than they solve, while Chan believes that his determination is the only reason the criminals have not already escaped. The investigation is now entering its most dangerous stage. Chu Tao is still fighting to avoid prison. His organization is still looking for a way to destroy the case. Selena is still the key witness, and Chan Ka-Kui is the only person standing directly between the criminals and the woman who can bring their entire operation down. The criminals have failed to stop Chan once, but they are not going to give up. And as the trial approaches, their next plan will bring Chan, Selena, and the entire criminal organization into a dangerous confrontation where one mistake could change everything. After the latest confrontation with Chu Tao's men, Chan Ka-Kui understands that the danger surrounding the case has become even more serious. The criminals have already shown that they are willing to chase, threaten, and fight anyone who stands between Chu Tao and freedom. Although several suspects have been arrested, Chan knows that the organization itself is still active. Chu Tao may be behind bars, but his associates continue working outside and they are determined to protect their leader by destroying the evidence against him. The police now focus even more heavily on Selena's safety. She remains the key witness who could connect Chu Tao directly to his criminal activities, and everyone understands that her testimony could determine the outcome of the entire case. Chan is once again placed in the center of the situation because he has already proven that he will do whatever is necessary to protect her. But this responsibility is becoming increasingly difficult. The criminals are watching the police, and Chan knows that they may be waiting for one careless moment. Selena herself is becoming more nervous as the trial approaches. She knows that the criminals have already tried to frighten her, and she understands that the danger has not disappeared simply because some of Chu Tao's men have been arrested. She is expected to stand in court and speak against a powerful criminal who has spent years building an organization capable of controlling people through fear and money. The thought of facing Chu Tao and his associates creates enormous pressure, and Chan realizes that protecting her physically is only one part of the problem. Chan tries to keep Selena focused on the importance of her testimony, but he also understands why she is afraid. Selena is not a trained police officer, and she has never been prepared for the kind of danger surrounding her now. Every time she sees someone connected to Chu Tao, she worries that the criminals may be preparing another attack. Chan therefore attempts to keep her calm while making sure that she remains under protection. At the same time, the police investigation continues, uncovering more information about Chu Tao's criminal network. The evidence begins creating a stronger case against him, but the organization continues searching for ways to challenge the investigation. Chu Tao's lawyers begin preparing their defense, while his associates work behind the scenes to make sure that the prosecution does not have an easy victory. Chan knows that a courtroom can be just as dangerous as the streets because the criminals are now fighting with money, influence, and legal strategy. Chan's personal life also continues suffering because of his dedication to the case. May is increasingly frustrated by the amount of time Chan spends working and the constant danger surrounding his job. She wants him to be more careful and more present in their relationship, but Chan continues allowing his police work to control his life. He does not intentionally ignore her, but his sense of duty constantly pulls him into another dangerous situation. The tension between Chan and May becomes even stronger as the investigation continues. Chan knows that May is worried about him, but he also believes that he cannot simply walk away from the case. He has become personally involved in protecting Salina, and he understands that leaving the assignment could put her in danger. His dedication to the job creates a conflict between his professional responsibilities and his personal life. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's organization begins preparing another plan. The criminals understand that the trial is approaching and that their chances of protecting their leader are becoming smaller. They know that Salina must be stopped before she can give her testimony, and they begin looking for a way to reach her despite the police protection around her. Chan senses that something is wrong. He knows that the criminals are too quiet. He knows that they have not abandoned their plan, and he understands that the most dangerous attack may happen when everyone believes the situation is under control. Chan begins watching the people around Selena more carefully. He studies the locations they visit and the people they come into contact with. His instincts tell him that the criminals may attempt to create a situation where they can reach Selena without directly attacking the police. Chan therefore becomes increasingly suspicious of anything that appears unusual. The criminals, however, are also studying Chan. They know that he is the biggest obstacle protecting Selena, and they understand that removing him from the situation could make their plan much easier. Chan has already gained a reputation for being aggressive and reckless, and the criminals begin searching for ways to use his personality against him. They know that Chan will chase them, they know that he will take risks, and they know that he will not stop once he begins pursuing them. This gives them an opportunity. As the trial approaches, the criminals finally begin putting their next plan into motion. They create a situation designed to draw Chan away from Salina and force him into another dangerous pursuit. Chan quickly realizes that something may be wrong, but his instinct as a police officer pushes him to respond immediately. The situation begins developing exactly as the criminals hoped. Chan is forced to make a decision. He can remain close to Salina and risk allowing the criminals to escape, or he can chase the suspects and risk leaving Salina vulnerable. The criminals have created the perfect trap, and Chan Ka-Kui is about to discover that protecting one witness may require him to be in two places at the same time. As the pressure reaches its highest point, the criminals make their move. Chan reacts instantly, and the next confrontation is about to push him into an even more dangerous battle than anything he has faced before. As the criminals begin putting their next plan into action, Chan Ka-Kui starts to realize that the situation surrounding Selena has become far more dangerous than anyone expected. The police have been trying to protect her while preparing the case against Chu Tao, but the criminal organization has continued watching their movements from the shadows. Chan understands that the criminals are not going to attack without a plan, because they know that a direct confrontation with the police could expose their entire operation. Instead, they are waiting for the perfect opportunity to create confusion and separate Chan from the woman he has been assigned to protect. His instincts tell him that something is wrong, and he becomes increasingly alert to every unusual movement around him. The criminals know that Chan is the biggest obstacle standing between them and Selina. As long as he remains close to her, reaching the witness will be extremely difficult. So they begin searching for a way to use Chan's own determination against him. They understand that Chan cannot ignore criminals when he sees them trying to escape, and they know that he will immediately chase anyone who appears to be connected to Chu Tao's organization. Their plan is therefore to create a dangerous distraction that will pull Chan away from Selina at exactly the right moment. If they can keep him occupied long enough, their associates may finally get the opportunity they need. Chan soon finds himself facing a situation that appears to be another criminal escape. Several suspects begin moving through the city, and Chan immediately reacts because he believes that allowing them to disappear could create another threat to the investigation. He begins pursuing them through the crowded streets, refusing to slow down even as the situation becomes more dangerous. The criminals use the busy surroundings and chaotic traffic to make the chase difficult, but Chan continues following them with the same determination that has made him one of the most fearless officers in the force. At first, he believes he is simply chasing criminals who are desperate to escape. But the longer the pursuit continues, the more he begins to suspect that their movements may be part of something much larger. As the chase develops, Chan begins noticing that the suspects are behaving in a way that feels too organized. Their escape seems almost perfectly designed to keep him moving farther away from Selina, and this realization slowly begins to concern him. Chan understands that criminals connected to Chu Tao would be willing to use deception to protect their organization, and he begins questioning whether the entire pursuit has been created as a trap. Every moment he spends chasing the suspects could be giving their associates more time to approach Selina. Chan now faces a difficult decision because he cannot simply allow the criminals in front of him to escape. But he also knows that Selina may be in danger while he is away. The situation becomes even more complicated when Chan attempts to change direction and return to Selina. The criminals refuse to make the decision easy for him, and their actions continue, forcing him into dangerous confrontations. Chan is pushed into another intense struggle as he tries to overcome the suspects and escape the trap they have created. He is forced to rely on his instincts, his police training, and his ability to react quickly under pressure. Although the criminals believed that they could control his movements, Chan refuses to follow their plan completely and begins searching for a way to turn the situation against them. Meanwhile, the danger surrounding Selina continues increasing as the criminals move closer to their real objective. She knows that the people connected to Chu Tao are still trying to stop her from testifying, and the sudden confusion around her protection makes her increasingly nervous. The police officers responsible for keeping her safe begin realizing that the situation is no longer normal, but they do not yet understand the full extent of the criminals' plan. Selina is trapped in the middle of an operation she never wanted to be part of, and every moment that passes increases the possibility that the criminal organization may finally reach her. Chan eventually manages to understand what the criminals are attempting to do. He realizes that the chase was never simply about capturing the suspects. The entire situation was designed to pull him away from Selena and create an opportunity for the organization to attack the investigation. This discovery makes Chan even more determined because he now knows that he has been fighting on two different fronts at the same time. He must stop the criminals in front of him while also making sure that Selena remains safe. Chan therefore pushes himself harder, refusing to allow exhaustion or danger to slow him down. The criminals begin realizing that their plan is starting to fail. They expected Chan to continue following their movements without questioning the situation, but his instincts have allowed him to understand the trap. Instead of remaining trapped in the role they created for him, Chan begins taking control of the situation. He continues pursuing the suspects while looking for the fastest way back to Selena, knowing that the criminals may still have another part of their plan waiting. The pressure continues increasing as Chan races against time, aware that every second could determine whether Selena remains safe or falls into the hands of Chu Tao's organization. The confrontation eventually becomes unavoidable as Chan catches up with the criminals and forces them into a dangerous struggle. The suspects know that they cannot simply escape anymore, while Chan understands that allowing them to get away could create even more problems for the investigation. The fight becomes intense as Chan is forced to defend himself while attempting to bring the criminals under control. He continues fighting despite his exhaustion, using his speed, strength, and determination to overcome the men standing in his way. But even after dealing with the immediate threat, Chan knows that the danger is not over, because the criminals may already have moved toward their real target. As the situation develops, Chan understands that the criminal organization has created a much larger plan than he originally realized. Their goal is not only to escape from the police or protect individual members of the organization. They are trying to destroy the case against Chu Tao before Selena can testify, and they are willing to use every possible method to achieve that goal. Chan now realizes that protecting Selena will require more than simply following her from one location to another. He must stay one step ahead of an entire organization that has been studying his movements and waiting for the right opportunity to attack. The case against Chu Tao is moving closer to its final stage, but the danger surrounding the witness is growing even faster. Chan Ka-Kui has managed to survive another trap, yet the criminals have proven that they can create chaos whenever they choose. Selena remains the key to the entire investigation, and Chu Tao's organization is becoming more desperate with every passing moment. Chan now knows that the next move may be even more dangerous than the last, because the criminals are no longer simply trying to escape from him. They are preparing to strike directly at the heart of the case. After the latest confrontation, Chan Ka-Kui realizes that the danger surrounding Selena has reached an entirely new level. The criminals connected to Chu Tao have already demonstrated that they are willing to create distractions, manipulate situations, and take enormous risks to protect their organization. Chan now understands that the previous pursuit was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger effort to weaken the police investigation. The criminals are trying to keep him constantly reacting to their movements, because every moment Chan spends dealing with one problem gives them another opportunity to create a new one somewhere else. The police continue preparing for the upcoming trial, but the situation is becoming increasingly difficult to control. Salina remains the most important witness against Chu Tao, and everyone knows that her testimony could determine whether the powerful criminal spends years behind bars or finds a way to escape justice. Chan is therefore ordered to remain close to her and make sure that nothing happens before she can appear in court. However, the criminals are also aware of how important Selena is and they continue searching for weaknesses in the protection surrounding her. Selena is becoming increasingly nervous as the trial approaches. She knows that the people connected to Chu Tao have already tried to intimidate her, and she fears that their next attempt could be much more serious. Although Chan continues assuring her that the police will protect her, Selena understands that even the police cannot be everywhere at once. She has seen how quickly situations can become dangerous, and she knows that one unexpected attack could change everything. Chan tries to remain confident in front of her, but even he understands that the criminals are becoming more desperate. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's lawyers continue working to weaken the prosecution's case. They attempt to create doubt about the evidence and question Salina's reliability as a witness. Chu Tao remains confident because he knows that his organization has survived difficult situations before and he believes that money and influence can still protect him. However, the police are determined to keep the case moving forward, and Chan knows that every piece of evidence is important. If the criminals manage to destroy even one major part of the investigation, the entire case could begin falling apart. Chan's own position within the police force also becomes more complicated. His aggressive methods have helped him capture criminals, but they have also created problems for his superiors. Chan often acts quickly and takes risks that other officers would avoid, and while his actions frequently produce results, they also create serious consequences. Some officers believe that Chan needs to become more careful, while Chan believes that hesitation allows criminals to escape. This difference in attitude continues creating tension as the investigation becomes more dangerous. At the same time, Chan's relationship with May continues suffering because of the pressure surrounding his work. May wants Chan to understand that his constant involvement in dangerous situations affects more than just him. She worries that one day his reckless approach to police work may lead to something terrible. Chan cares about her, but he struggles to explain why he cannot simply walk away from the case. He believes that protecting Selena and bringing Chu Tao to justice are responsibilities he cannot abandon, even if his personal life continues becoming more complicated. As the criminals continue planning, they begin looking for another way to attack the investigation. They understand that simply trying to capture Selena may be too risky while Chan remains close to her. Instead, they begin searching for a way to create confusion inside the legal process itself. If they can make the police appear unreliable or cause the evidence to be questioned, they may be able to weaken the case without directly attacking the witness. Chan begins realizing that the battle is no longer happening only on the streets. The criminals are now fighting in the courtroom through lawyers, evidence, and manipulation. The pressure increases when new information begins connecting more people to Chu Tao's organization. Chan and the other officers understand that the criminal network is larger than they originally believed. The people arrested earlier may only be a small part of the organization, while others continue operating freely. Chan knows that capturing Chu Tao alone will not solve the entire problem if the remaining criminals continue controlling the operation from outside. Selena also begins facing increasing pressure from the people around her. Some individuals question her involvement in the case, while others attempt to make her doubt whether cooperating with the police is worth the danger. She knows that testifying could put her life at risk, but she also understands that remaining silent could allow Chu Tao to continue controlling the criminal organization. Chan tries to support her decision, but he knows that the final choice must ultimately belong to Selina. As the trial gets closer, the criminals become more desperate. Their previous attempts have failed, and the evidence against Chu Tao continues growing. They now understand that time is working against them. Every day that passes brings Selina closer to the courtroom, and every new piece of evidence makes Chu Tao's position more difficult. The organization, therefore, begins preparing one final plan that could completely change the direction of the case. Chan senses that something major is about to happen. He knows the criminals have not given up. He knows they are watching the police, and he understands that their next move may be designed to destroy everything at once. The police continue preparing for the trial while Chan remains focused on protecting Selina. But as the criminals begin putting their final plan into motion, Chan is about to face a situation where the danger will no longer come from a single group of suspects. The entire investigation is about to be placed under pressure, and one unexpected development could allow Chu Tao to escape the consequences of everything he has done. As the trial against Chu Tao draws closer, the entire investigation begins moving toward a dangerous turning point. The police have spent a long time building their case, gathering evidence, and protecting Selina from the criminals who want to silence her. However, the closer the case gets to the courtroom, the more desperate Chu Tao's organization becomes. They know that once Selina gives her testimony, the chances of protecting their leader will become much smaller. The criminals therefore begin preparing a final plan, one that could create enough confusion to damage the entire case before the prosecution has a chance to finish. Chan Ka-Kui remains focused on protecting Selina, but he is now aware that the criminals may attempt something far more dangerous than anything they have done before. Their previous methods have included threats, deception, and carefully planned distractions, but those attempts have failed to stop the investigation. Chan understands that the organization is running out of options, and desperate criminals are often the most dangerous. He therefore begins paying close attention to every movement around the case, knowing that the next attack could come from an unexpected direction. Selina is also struggling under the pressure of the situation. She knows that her testimony could send Chu Tao to prison, but she also understands that the people connected to him are powerful and dangerous. Every step she takes toward the courtroom increases the risk surrounding her, and she begins questioning whether she can truly trust the protection around her. Chan tries to reassure her that the police will not allow anything to happen, but even he knows that the criminals have already proven their ability to create chaos. The responsibility of protecting Selina is becoming heavier with every passing day. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's legal team continues working aggressively to weaken the case. They begin challenging the evidence and attempting to create doubt about the people involved in the investigation. Chu Tao remains confident because he believes that the legal system can still provide him with a way out. He has spent years building his criminal empire, and he refuses to accept that everything can be destroyed because of one witness and a group of determined police officers. His lawyers therefore begin searching for every weakness they can find. Chan becomes increasingly frustrated as he watches the case being attacked from different directions. He knows that the police have worked hard to gather evidence, but he also understands that criminals like Chu Tao can use money and influence to create problems even after being arrested. Chan is used to fighting criminals directly, but the courtroom battle requires patience and careful preparation. He must now trust the evidence and the legal process, even though he knows that Chu Tao's organization is working behind the scenes to manipulate the situation. At the same time, the relationship between Chan and Mei continues to suffer because of the pressure surrounding the investigation. May is tired of seeing Chan constantly involved in dangerous situations and worries that his dedication to the police force will eventually destroy their relationship. Chan tries to explain that he cannot simply abandon the case while Selena remains in danger, but May feels that Chan is always choosing his work over his personal life. Their arguments become more serious as Chan's responsibilities continue increasing. The criminals soon begin making their next move. Instead of attacking Salina directly, they start creating circumstances that could damage the credibility of the investigation. Their goal is to make the police look careless and unreliable, because if they can create enough doubt, the case against Chu Tao may become much weaker. Chan begins realizing that the organization is trying to fight the police without openly confronting them. They are using pressure, manipulation, and carefully planned actions to create problems that may not immediately appear connected. As Chan investigates the growing complications, he begins uncovering information that suggests the criminals may have people working in places where the police least expect them. The organization has been operating for too long and has too many connections to be easily destroyed. Chan realizes that the case is much larger than one criminal and one witness. Chu Tao has built a network that reaches far beyond the people who have already been arrested, and the remaining members of that network are determined to protect everything they have created. The police now face increasing pressure to complete the case before the criminals can interfere any further. Chan knows that Selena must appear in court safely, but he also understands that the criminals may attempt to create one final distraction. He begins preparing for the possibility that the organization will attack at the exact moment when the police believe they have finally gained control of the situation. As the day of the trial approaches, Selena prepares herself to face the man whose criminal organization has changed her life completely. She knows that testifying against Chu Tao could place her in serious danger, but she also understands that remaining silent would allow him to continue controlling people through fear. Chan remains determined to protect her, but he knows that the most dangerous part of the case may be about to begin. The criminals are running out of time. The police are preparing their evidence. Selena is preparing to testify, and Chu Tao is preparing to fight for his freedom. Everything now depends on what happens next. As the final preparations for the trial begin, a sudden development threatens to change the entire situation. The criminals are about to make their most dangerous move yet, and Chan Ka-Kui will soon be forced to fight not only for the case against Chu Tao, but also for the safety of the people closest to him. As the trial against Chu Tao finally moves closer, the pressure surrounding the entire case reaches its highest point. The police has spent a long time collecting evidence and protecting Selena, but the criminal organization continues searching for a way to destroy everything before she can give her testimony. Chan Ka-Kui understands that the situation is now more dangerous than ever because Chu Tao's future depends on the success or failure of the case. If Selina speaks in court, the evidence against him could become impossible to ignore. But if the criminals manage to stop her, the entire investigation could collapse. Selina prepares herself for the difficult moment when she will have to face Chu Tao and speak about everything she knows. She is frightened because she understands that the people connected to him have already tried to intimidate her. The idea of standing in court and testifying against a powerful criminal is extremely difficult, especially when she knows that his organization may still be watching her. Chan tries to reassure her and promises that the police will protect her, but both of them understand that the criminals may not follow any rules if they believe their leader is about to lose everything. Meanwhile, Chu Tao's lawyers continue attacking the prosecution's case from every possible direction. They question the evidence, challenge the credibility of witnesses, and search for any weakness that could create doubt in the minds of the court. Chu Tao remains confident because he believes that his money and influence can still protect him. Even though he is behind bars, he continues behaving as if he is in control of the situation. His organization is still active outside, and his associates are determined to make sure that the case never reaches a successful conclusion. Chan becomes increasingly frustrated by the way the criminals continue manipulating the situation. He knows that the police have worked hard to build the case, but he also understands that the legal process can be affected by lies, pressure, and carefully planned deception. Chan is used to dealing with criminals through direct action, but now he must remain patient and trust the evidence. At the same time, he cannot ignore the fact that the people working for Chu Tao may be preparing another attack. As the trial preparations continue, Chan notices that several things around the investigation do not feel right. The criminal organization has been too active and too determined to simply wait for the court proceedings to begin. Chan believes that they may be preparing something that could create chaos at the exact moment when the police are most vulnerable. He begins carefully reviewing the situation and studying the movements of the people connected to the case. His instincts tell him that the criminals are planning something bigger than another simple attempt to frighten Selina. The pressure also continues affecting Chan's personal life. May remains frustrated because Chan is constantly involved in the case and seems unable to separate his work from his relationship. She worries that Chan's reckless approach to danger will eventually lead to tragedy, while Chan believes that he cannot abandon his responsibilities while Selina remains threatened. Their relationship becomes increasingly difficult as Chan spends more time dealing with the investigation and less time trying to repair the problems between them. Meanwhile, the criminal organization begins making preparations for its next move. They know that the police will be focused on the trial and that Chan will be concentrating on protecting Selina. This gives them an opportunity to create a distraction somewhere else. Their plan depends on confusion because if they can force the police to respond to several problems at once, they may be able to create an opening. Chan understands that the organization has already tried to manipulate him before, but he does not yet know exactly where their next attack will come from. As the day of the trial approaches, the police increase security around Selina. They know that she is the most important person in the case and that every effort must be made to ensure that she reaches the courtroom safely. Selina tries to remain calm, but the fear surrounding her continues growing. She knows that once she enters the courtroom, there will be no way to take back what she says. Her testimony could destroy Chu Tao's empire, but it could also make her a permanent target. Chan remains determined to keep her safe, but he knows that the criminals may attempt something unexpected. He begins preparing himself for the possibility that the situation could suddenly become violent. The police have plans in place, but Chan understands that plans can fail when criminals are willing to take extreme risks. He therefore remains alert and ready to react at any moment. Then, just as the case appears to be moving toward the courtroom, the situation suddenly begins to change. A new development creates confusion around the investigation and forces the police to react quickly. Chan realizes that the criminals may finally have begun their final plan. The organization is no longer simply trying to delay the case, they are now trying to create enough chaos to completely destroy it. Chan understands that the next few moments could decide everything. If the criminals succeed, Chu Tao may escape justice. If they fail, the entire organization could finally begin collapsing. Selina's safety is in danger. The evidence is under pressure, and Chan Ka-Kui is once again being forced to move faster than everyone around him. As the final confrontation begins to take shape, Chan prepares himself for the most dangerous stage of the investigation. The criminals have spent the entire story trying to stay one step ahead of the police, but now they are finally being pushed into a corner. Their leader is facing prison, their organization is under investigation, and their most important witness is still alive. But desperate criminals are capable of desperate actions. And as Chan moves closer to the truth behind the latest development, he is about to discover that the final battle against Chu Tao's organization will not be fought only in the courtroom. As the investigation reaches its most critical stage, Chan Ka-Kui realizes that the criminal organization has finally begun making its most dangerous move. The pressure surrounding Chu Tao is increasing, and the evidence against him is becoming more difficult to destroy. The criminals understand that time is running out, so they begin taking greater risks in an attempt to protect their leader. Chan knows that the organization is no longer interested in simply delaying the trial. Their goal is now to create enough chaos to destroy the case completely and make sure that Selina never gets the chance to provide the evidence that could send Chu Tao to prison. Selina is placed under even greater pressure as the trial approaches, and Chan understands that the criminals may try to attack her reputation before they attempt anything more direct. The people working for Chu Tao begin using every opportunity to create doubt about her involvement in the case. They want everyone to believe that Selina cannot be trusted because if the court begins questioning her credibility, the evidence against Chu Tao could become much weaker. Chan becomes increasingly frustrated as he watches the criminals manipulate the situation, but he knows that he must remain focused on protecting Selina and making sure that the truth is not buried beneath their lies. Meanwhile, Chu Tao continues fighting for his freedom through every method available to him. His lawyers remain determined to challenge the case while his associates continue working outside the courtroom. Chu Tao believes that the police have not completely defeated him because his organization still has people willing to take risks on his behalf. He remains confident that money, influence, and manipulation can still help him escape the consequences of his actions. However, Chan understands that Chu Tao's confidence may also become his greatest weakness because the criminal leader has become so certain of his own power that he no longer believes anyone can truly stop him. As the pressure continues building, Chan finds himself caught between the investigation and the growing danger around Selina. He knows that the criminals may attack at any moment, but he also understands that he cannot simply keep her hidden forever. Eventually, she must appear in court and give her testimony. The police therefore begin preparing for the moment when Selena will finally face Chu Tao, knowing that the criminal organization may attempt one final desperate action before that happens. Chan remains close to the situation, carefully watching every person and every movement connected to the case. The criminals soon begin creating another wave of confusion, forcing the police to respond to problems in different places at the same time. Chan realizes that the organization is attempting to stretch the police resources as far as possible. If too many officers are distracted, the criminals may be able to create an opening around Selena. Chan therefore refuses to focus only on the obvious danger and begins looking for the hidden purpose behind every move. He knows that Chu Tao's people have already used distractions before, and this time he believes that their real target may be closer than anyone realizes. The situation becomes even more complicated when the criminals begin taking action against the people involved in the case. Chan understands that the organization is trying to frighten everyone connected to the investigation into silence. Their message is clear: anyone who stands against Chu Tao could become a target. But instead of backing down, Chan becomes even more determined to bring the criminal leader to justice. He knows that if the police allow fear to control the investigation, Chu Tao will continue using his power to manipulate everyone around him. At the same time, Chan's personal problems continue growing. His relationship with May has become increasingly strained because his work has consumed almost every part of his life. Chan knows that May is angry and worried, but he also feels that he cannot abandon the case while Selena remains in danger. His dedication to the police force has always been one of his greatest strengths, but it has also created problems for the people closest to him. Chan is beginning to understand that even if he succeeds in bringing Chu Tao down, he may still have to face the damage caused by his constant obsession with his work. As the final preparations for the courtroom begin, the police attempt to make sure that Selena is ready to give her testimony. Chan remains focused on her safety, but the tension around the case continues increasing. Everyone understands that the next stage could determine Chu Tao's future. If Selena speaks successfully, the evidence against him may become overwhelming. If the criminals manage to stop her, they may be able to destroy the case and allow Chu Tao to escape. The criminal organization now finds itself under enormous pressure. Their leader is facing serious consequences, their operations are being investigated, and the witness they fear most is still protected by Chan. The criminals have tried intimidation, deception, and carefully planned distractions, but Chan has continued surviving every attempt to stop him. They now realize that the only way to succeed may be to create a final confrontation so dangerous that the entire investigation is thrown into chaos. Chan senses that the final battle is approaching. He knows the criminals are desperate. He knows Selena is still in danger, and he understands that the next move may decide the entire case. As the police prepare to move forward with the trial, Chan remains ready for whatever the criminal organization attempts next. He has spent the entire investigation chasing criminals through dangerous streets and protecting the witness who could destroy their empire. Now, with Chu Tao's future hanging in the balance, Chan is about to face the most dangerous moment of the entire case. The criminals have one final chance to stop the investigation, and Chan Ka-Kui is standing directly in their way. As the final stage of the case begins, Chan Ka-Kui and the police prepare for the courtroom battle that will determine Chu Tao's future. After everything that has happened, Selena is finally ready to provide the evidence needed against the powerful criminal leader. The police know that the case has been threatened from every direction. but they also understand that the evidence gathered during the investigation could finally bring Chu Tao's criminal empire to an end. Chan remains determined to protect Selina until the very last moment, knowing that the criminals may still attempt one final desperate move. Chu Tao and his associates are now facing the consequences of everything they have done. Their organization has been exposed, several of their people have been arrested, and the evidence against their leader has become increasingly difficult to destroy. However, Chu Tao still refuses to accept defeat. He has spent years building a powerful criminal network, and he believes that his money and influence can still help him escape justice. His confidence has protected him for a long time, but the investigation has finally brought him to a point where even his power may no longer be enough. Selina's testimony becomes the most important part of the entire case. She has spent much of the story living under fear, knowing that the criminals could target her at any moment. But now she finally decides to stand against Chu Tao and reveal what she knows. Her decision is not easy because she understands that testifying could permanently change her life. However, she also knows that remaining silent would allow Chu Tao and his organization to continue hurting people. Chan remains close to her, determined to make sure that she reaches the courtroom safely and gets the chance to tell the truth. The final moments before the courtroom are filled with tension because the police know that the criminals may still try to interfere. Chan has already seen how quickly a carefully planned operation can turn into complete chaos, so he refuses to become careless. He continues watching the people around Selina and remains ready for any unexpected danger. The criminal organization has failed to stop him several times, but Chan understands that desperate criminals can become even more dangerous when they realize that their final opportunity is disappearing. Inside the courtroom, the battle against Chu Tao begins in a completely different way from the dangerous fights and pursuits that came before it. Instead of chasing criminals through the streets, the police must now rely on evidence and testimony. Salina's words become extremely important as the case begins revealing the truth about Chu Tao's organization. The criminal leader and his lawyers attempt to challenge the accusations, but the investigation has gathered enough information to make the case increasingly difficult to dismiss. Chan watches the proceedings knowing how much effort has been required to reach this moment. He remembers the dangerous pursuits, the confrontations, the threats, and the countless situations where everything could have gone wrong. He also knows that Selina has risked her safety to help bring the truth forward. For Chan, the case is no longer simply another police assignment. It has become a personal responsibility, and he is determined to make sure that the criminals do not escape after everything that has happened. As the evidence continues to come forward, Chu Tao's confidence begins to weaken. The criminal leader has spent the entire investigation believing that he could control the situation, but the case is finally moving beyond his influence. His organization has been exposed, his associates are facing consequences, and the witness he tried to silence is now helping the police reveal the truth. The empire that once seemed almost impossible to destroy is beginning to collapse under the weight of its own crimes. Chan's journey through the case has also changed him. He remains the same fearless and determined police officer, but he has learned that fighting criminals is not only about strength and courage. Sometimes the greatest challenge is protecting people, trusting others, and continuing to do the right thing even when the situation becomes complicated. His aggressive methods may have created problems, but his determination and refusal to give up are also the reasons the investigation continues moving forward. At the same time, Chan must face the consequences of the choices he has made in his personal life. His dedication to the police force has placed enormous pressure on his relationship with May, and he realizes that protecting the public has often meant neglecting the people closest to him. The case has forced him to understand that courage is not only about running toward danger, it is also about accepting responsibility for the damage caused by one's own decisions. Eventually, the case against Chu Tao reaches its final conclusion. The evidence and testimony gathered throughout the investigation make it increasingly difficult for the criminal leader to escape justice. The organization that once appeared powerful and untouchable has been exposed, and the people who work for Chu Tao can no longer hide behind his influence. After a long and dangerous battle, the police finally achieved the victory they have been fighting for. Chan Ka-Kui survives the entire ordeal, but the experience leaves a lasting impact on him. He has faced criminals, dangerous pursuits, powerful enemies, and situations where his own life was constantly at risk. Yet, through everything, he continued protecting the people who needed him and refused to allow fear to control his actions. His journey proves that a police officer's greatest strength is not simply physical power, but the determination to continue fighting for justice even when the odds seem impossible. The case against Chu Tao finally comes to an end. The criminal organization begins to collapse. Selina is finally free from the fear that controlled her life. And Chan Ka-Kui proves once again why he is one of the most fearless officers in the city. After surviving an investigation filled with danger, betrayal, relentless pursuits, and explosive confrontations, Chan has finally completed his mission. But even though this case is over, his life as a police officer is far from peaceful. Wherever criminals threaten innocent people, Chan will continue standing in their way, ready to fight for justice no matter how dangerous the situation becomes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing movie breakdowns. See you in the next video.